Well, that UMP feud is certainly making the newspapers here in France, and with more on that, Nicholas Rushworth, our press reviewer, is here. Good morning, Nicholas. Dominated then by the UMP crisis this Friday.
It is indeed, Lorna, and I go straight to Le Figaro, which is the right-wing paper here, and we can see the third figure in this week of high drama, and that man is Alain Juppé, the mayor of Bordeaux, and he there is looking very pensive, isn't he? Le Figaro is saying that he has stepped centre stage, and of course we've got the situation here, the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister François Fillon saying he's won. Jean-François Copé has been declared the winner. So obviously there, Juppé is one of the founders of the UMP movement 12 years ago. There the headline is saying, this mediation is la dernière chance, so a kind of last chance saloon for France's conservatives.
OK. Now, meanwhile, one paper saying that he's a sort of a UN-style peacekeeper because Copé and Fillon are now at war. Well,
that's the mood in France at the moment, is that there's a big standoff, and Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France has got that headline there. Comment le maire de Bordeaux s'est imposé en casque bleu. Casque bleu is a UN peacekeeper, a blue helmet. Now, of course, the paper there details all the frantic behind-the-scenes phone calls and negotiations. And the impression I got from reading the piece there was that Copé has the upper hand at this point. The party's electoral commission has given him victory on the one hand, and also there's one quote from a Fillon supporter saying the electoral commission, who ultimately has been playing a key role in deciding, is in Copé's pocket. Now, obviously, Juppé at this point is to go in and stand and watch all the reviews of voting, but ultimately he will be making the verdict. And the time delay is astonishing. 2 weeks. He's got 2 weeks to do it. So it's going to drag on. Yeah. We're going to be having a great time.
Certainly here in the press review. So 2 weeks of crisis. But Le Figaro says that even with Alain Juppé stepping in, the party could be heading towards a breakup.
Well, again, in Le Figaro, Juppé is not going to be the saviour necessarily. That's the piece here. You can see les menaces qui pèsent toujours, the threats that could harm the party, or even perhaps split it up. Now, there are a couple of main arguments. The first one is, what if Fillon is declared the winner? Will he at that point then go back on his statement that he would not take up the leadership? So there's a big question mark about that. The second concern for Le Figaro is, well, if Copé is declared the winner, will Fillon and the MPs faithful to him accept that verdict? They're saying they're going to, but will they in practice? Will they instead create their own grouping in Parliament?
OK, well, one paper which I'm sure is loving all this disarray on the right is the left-wing paper Libération. But they're actually not so interested in the Copé-Fillon war as Nicolas Sarkozy, another UMP figure.
A fourth figure in this drama for the right wing in France. There you can see him cast in shadow, Nicolas Sarkozy, la droite sans tête, which is, if you translate that headline, it comes out as, well, the right without a leader, but it's also a pun. S'entêter would be to be stubborn and to be insisting on something. Now, what would Sarkozy be insisting on about? It would be perhaps to do with his 12-hour grilling in Bordeaux before a court about possible links to fundraising in 2007 for his campaign then, and whether there was underhand dealing going on, allegations of campaign rigging, if you like. The editorial in on this question of Sarkozy in Libération is extremely emphatic. Defeat, defeat, defeat. This is the end of an era. This is the end of Sarkozyism. What we've got is a moral, political, ideological defeat. So there's probably about 20 sentences in that piece, and they're obviously creaming the pie there, really.
Yes, certainly, indeed. Well, meanwhile, there's one cartoon in Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien, which caught your eye.
Well, the cartoons in Le Parisien Aujourd'hui en France are always very good. This one's hilarious. We've got Sarkozy sat before the judge saying, well, you know, I think it might be quite a good idea if Alain Juppé decided my legal woes for me. Just to finish, I want to go to Le Mans, Monde, which was a lot of discussion is about, well, who's going to actually gain from this? The far right, will it gain? Marine Le Pen, because of the disarray. Now, this piece in Le Monde is fascinating, but it's an interview with a political expert who's saying, well, Marine Le Pen really believes that she could portray herself as not the far right, but the alternative right, and step in and take those votes. But this piece is saying that's not necessarily the case. Marine Le Pen may not be right. The centre of politics in France could actually be the winner here.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Nicholas, for that look at today's French papers. We will see what happens. Thank you.